you remember that in Daniel 2, God gave King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon a dream?
Yes, the king knew that he had dreamed of something important, but he could not remember it.
When his soothsayers could not tell him what he had dreamed, he ordered the execution of all the wise men in the kingdom.
But God revealed the dream and its interpretation to Daniel.
Exactly. Daniel told the king that he had dreamed of an image with a golden head, a silver chest, bronze belly and thighs, iron legs, and feet of clay mixed with iron. Then a stone struck the statue's feet, reducing the entire image to dust. However, the stone became a great mountain that filled the whole earth. Daniel also told the king the meaning of the dream. Those elements represented kingdoms. Babylon was the golden head. Then another kingdom would come, followed by a third, a fourth, and finally, a divided kingdom. The feet of clay mixed with iron. Finally, the kingdom of God would come, represented by the stone that filled the whole earth. This approach to prophecy is known as historicism. What does that mean? It means that God reveals a series of kingdoms or events that span from the time of the prophet to the end times. History has proven that this is the correct interpretation of Daniel 2. Babylon fell to Medo-Persia, Medo-Persia fell to Greece, and Greece fell to Rome. After the Roman Empire, there was no other great empire. Rather, it was divided into the countries of Europe that we know today, just as it was prophesied. They have tried to unite through marriage alliances, but have been unable to do so, just as God showed Daniel. However, Nebuchadnezzar did not like the idea that Babylon would fall, so he had an image made like the one in the dream, but made of gold from head to foot. Sabbath School-like presents the series, How to Study Bible Prophecy. Lesson 12, Precursors. The golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar made is one of many great stories that foreshadow end-time events. This week's question is, what other Old and New Testament stories offer peace in the face of end-time events? First of all, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Have you ever seen those tests at amusement parks where you have to stand in front of a giant fan without moving?
Some people fly away at the first gust of wind.
But those who resist win the prize.
In biblical history, there were also young people who faced a powerful wind, the wind of social and political pressure. Nebuchadnezzar had a golden statue made and ordered everyone to bow down before it. What message did he want to convey? That no silver empire would succeed him. He wanted to show that what God had revealed would not come to pass. Babylon would never fall. In other words, he was claiming to be more sovereign than God. Isn't that similar to Lucifer's attitude in heaven, or like Haman's in the story of Esther we saw last week? Nebuchadnezzar sought the worship of that image. In this case, it was a state-imposed law of worship. Whoever did not obey would be thrown into the fiery furnace. However, three young Hebrew men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, stood firm in the face of the fierce wind. They said, "Our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the furnace of blazing fire, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But even if he does not, let it be known to you, O king, that we are not going to serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up." They did not imagine it. They saw it in front of them. Yet they stood firm as pencils, while others bent like plasticine. As we said, this story is not just ancient history, it is a precursor to what Revelation 13 describes. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed. There's an image, a command to worship, and a threat of death for those who do not submit. History repeats itself. Though these two times are different, the conflict is the same. Who will you worship? Beware though, worship does not just mean kneeling before a statue. We worship whatever we are loyal to, whatever occupies the center of our life. If that is not God, then we are in danger, even if we have never prostrated ourselves before an image. Jesus put it bluntly,
"Whoever is not with me is against me."
Therefore, in the School of the Prophets 2.0, we understand that in the last days, being faithful in worship means deciding to whom we give our heart, not just singing or going to church. Will we give it to things created by human beings? No, we give it to the Creator. Secondly, James and Peter. Have you ever seen a story where the protagonist seems to be about to die but is unexpectedly saved at the last second?
Yes, just when you start to cry,
Dramatic twist.
Well, something similar happened in the book of Acts, only this is a real story, not a fictional one. King Herod had James, one of Jesus' disciples, beheaded.
The brother of the Apostle John.
That's right. As some were happy about that, Herod also had Peter arrested. Peter was in prison, chained between two soldiers awaiting his death. All seemed lost. Meanwhile, what was the church doing? They were praying without stopping. Suddenly a miracle occurred. An angel of the Lord came in, woke Peter up and took him out of prison, as if the chains were made of cotton and the doors did not exist. Now here comes a difficult question. Why did James die while Peter was released? They were both faithful disciples, yet God permitted them to have different fates. Why? Because in the great story of God's plan, some are martyrs and some are witnesses, but all are instruments. Revelation 13 also speaks of a time of persecution, and He causes all, the small and the great, and the rich and the poor, and the free men and the slaves, to be given a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, and He provides that no one will be able to buy or to sell, except the one who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. During the final events, some will face imprisonment, judgment, or even death for their faith. However, that does not mean that God has abandoned them. At School of the Prophets 2.0, we understand that faithfulness doesn't always end in miraculous rescue, but always in victory. Whether we live like Peter or die like James, the Lamb awaits us with the crown of life. And third, a story to tell. Can you imagine a book with action-packed first pages but blank last pages?
That would be very strange.
it would make me want to write the ending myself.
The Bible is such a book. It contains epic stories, but the final chapter is still being written with lives, not ink. We are no longer in front of a golden statue or in Herod's jail. However, as we read, a time will come when no one will be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast. What is that mark? It is a seal of allegiance to a power that pretends to take the place of God. And the image, it is a religious system united with the state that imitates the power of the beast to impose a form of worship that God has not commanded. The strongest part is that the center of this false worship is the change of the Sabbath day. Instead of Saturday, the day God sanctified during creation and in the commandments, Sunday is imposed as the day of worship. By divine commandment? No, by tradition. So who will you obey? The Creator who said, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy," or to a system that has attempted to change the times and the law? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego already played their leading roles in the Old Testament. Jacob and Peter played theirs in the New Testament. Now God is looking for protagonists for the end times. He is looking for young people, children, adults, and families who will write the end of this story living with faith and hope. At the School of the Prophets 2.0, we believe that every decision counts. Being a precursor today means more than just talking about prophecy. It means living it. It means saying no when everyone else says yes. It means standing firm like a pencil when others bend like plasticine. Although the final chapter has yet to be written, we already know how the story ends, with the kingdom of God filling the whole earth. What about you? What will you write in your chapter? For God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and discipline. Has this study blessed you? You can also be part of this mission to teach the Bible in a creative and transformative way. Scan the QR code on the screen and support us so that more people can learn how to study biblical prophecy. Remember, together we can grow more.